Okay, this is the morning of the 15th, November 15th, and still on our way to New Zealand. Oh my God, it has been a rough passage. Not difficult weather-wise yet. I'm sure we'll get some of that too, but it's just been dead into the wind, headwind, and so I've got the boat sailing up into the wind as high as it'll go, and then I was using the electronic autopilot to steer a very precise course, and then we'd hit a wave and it would bring me to a dead stop, and I would lose steerage because I'm not moving, and then the wind would blow the bow off, and then the autopilot couldn't bring it back, and the sails would flog, and I would have to manually disengage the autopilot and put the boat back on course and start all over again. And I mean, this went on just for the longest of times, that finally I just said, well, I've had enough of this. So I tried steering it into wind vane mode with the electric autopilot, and because the wind is also really switching around a lot. These are like springtime conditions. So, you know, the wind velocity and direction's changing like minute by minute. And so I tried the wind vane mode, and same issue. We would, you know, hit a wave and come to a stop and lose steerage, and then the boat would blow off. So the only solution I've found is that I just can't steer as high against the wind as I would like, which means I'm not making the headway I need to make. But it is what it is. I'm doing the best I can now, and I got the wind vane steering again, which just, you know, at the end of the day, it does a better job than anything else. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just using the wind vane. Okay, I'm 273 nautical miles from Opua. It's just going so slow, laboriously slow. Supposedly there is going to be a wind shift coming real soon, within the next, like, Thursday, Friday. But today's only, what, when? Tuesday, Wednesday? What is today? I lose track. I just don't pay attention to that. You know, I just kind of like get into this mode, this passage making mode, where the only thing I concern myself with is keeping the boat moving in the right direction. That's it. I just kind of like, you know, look at how many miles I did a day. I go, okay, that was my day's progress, and that's good, or that wasn't so good. And I kind of forget about everything else. So, you know, I don't keep track of what day it is, and I don't keep track of really how many more miles I got left to go. That'll all take care of itself. Okay, we're running, here's our configuration, sail configuration. I got the main sail, I got the stay sail that you can kind of see. Let's see, like, get you a better view. There's the main right there. There's the stay sail kind of in close there, and then there's the jib out there. And yeah, pointed really high. Right now we're sailing 50, 30, 40, 45 to 50 degrees. Yeah, 45 to 50 degrees. It's just, you know, pretty good. We're not going real fast though. We're about 4.5 knots. I can do a lot faster in this wind. We got 16 knots of wind. I could be, if I just bared off 10 degrees, I would be doing probably 6.5 knots or so, which I'm considering doing, you know. I think we actually may make better time by doing that, because I got it slowed down pretty slow. I'm gonna try it. we'll go that way for a little while. I'll come off another 10 degrees. It's real easy to do. Show you how. I don't know. We're moving around an awful lot. I can't do it and hold the camera at the same time. Well, let's try. Let's bring this down. All right. There we go. All right. So, yeah, there we go. Here's the control turret for the wind vane. It acts like a tiller. So if you imagine there's a tiller out here and I want to turn that way, you just turn the tiller this way. And if I want to go that way, you just turn the tiller this way. Same thing with this. So if I want the bow to fall off the wind a little bit, I just rotate this collar up a little bit by about let's try that much. And we'll see what happens. What that does is that changes the angle on this steering paddle down here. Causes the bow to fall off. So the wind vane, that paddle up there, as that pendulum goes back and forth, it changes this paddle pendulum here. And that's connected to a rudder quadrant down below. It's all very mysterious, but it works. Yeah, and that brought us off by about, not very much. Might have a hard time. I'll put the camera down and mess with it some more. Well, why not? Everything's going good. It's time to mess with it. Well, good morning. It is the morning of November 16th. We're motoring. I drifted a lot last night. We ran out of wind and just couldn't get anywhere. So got up this morning. I put in 10 gallons of fuel. Brought the main tank up to 30 gallons. I have 5 gallons on deck. We're about 230 miles from Opua, New Zealand, and so I fired up the engine. We're gonna motor until we get some wind, which we should. We should be getting some wind today. It should be starting better today and tomorrow, really pushing hard. But I think that we're gonna get some decent wind. It looks like well, it's actually sprinkling and raining out there right now, so I took shelter under the Dodger. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold. I'm not in the tropics anymore, that's for sure. This feels like a kind of a spring, maybe a cold, you know, Southern California day. In the springtime or winter. Everything's going well. I mean, I've had to drop in a storm board here. You see this. I've taken the doors off. My door hinge failed again, and then it broke the top of this other one when it failed. I had a spring on one of the cabin or on one of the locker door latches. A spring failed, so it won't stay shut. That was in the head. So I removed that door, and I've got to replace the spring on that. It's just a little Perco latch. That's also not a big deal. I mean, it's not like a major failure or anything else. I had some chafing on the halyard for the stay sail right up at the top. I'm glad I caught that. So I put some chafe gear in, some rubber hose there, and that's taking care of that. Bilge pump, oh my God. Yesterday afternoon, I flipped the bilge pump on just to check. You know, it never runs. There's never any water in the bilge. Well, a little bit from the rain. And it didn't run. It was nothing happened, you know, and I thought, oh, there's no water down there. And I just had one of those sixth sense feelings, and I decided to go check. Maybe it was the motion of the boat was changing or something. And I went and pulled the drop boards, the floorboards, and oh my God, the bilge was full, almost up to the floorboards. So I went and checked the bilge pump, and it won't run. On the automatic float switch is broken somehow, and it's not working. So I threw it into manual and was able to pump out all the water real quick. So and that was just basically water that was coming over the bow and coming in through the windlass, where the windlass pulls the chain up. It comes in through there, drops drops down and goes into the bilge. Also, rainwater will find its way through there. Well, the cover that I had made for the windlass, evidently, I don't know when this happened, but it disappeared in the storm, and I lost it. So water has been coming in, and I wasn't aware of it. It's just one of those things, you know, you got to change. I just took it for granted that, oh yeah, I turned the bilge pump on, and you know, went to check it, and it's not running, and everything's fine, and so that I got to fix that. The automatic bilge pump, I got to fix it. I have a stanchion that's busted. That's been a long time. I got 2 of them that are gone bad. That happened months ago. So I just been waiting to get to a good place to replace those. Let's see. Did I make any mistakes on this passage? I sure did. As far as the route I took, you know, first of all, leaving when I did, the wind was, you know, the passage looked good, and then 2 days after into it, it all deteriorated. But I should have stayed further east, and instead, and I knew it. You know, I saw that the wind was going to die where I was at, but I had assumed the weather patterns were going to take a normal progress, where this low pressure trough that was sitting over me was going to move through. It would go quiet for maybe a day or two, and then the next low pressure or high pressure system, it's a high pressure, low pressure, high pressure type system, would move through, and I'd get wind again. But what happened is it turned into a cutoff low and just sat there. And so the trough sat over me, killed all the wind, and then the high pressure system that was driving the northerly winds continued to progress east a little bit, and I lost those. And if I had stayed with them, I would have gotten much further south and actually would have been able to almost like beam reach towards New Zealand. I would have saved a lot of time. I'd definitely be there now. So that was a big mistake. And the interesting thing is my weather routing program was telling me to do exactly that, and I ignored it. Sunrise, November 17th. We're motoring. Still not much wind. But check this out, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's 1 day, 6 hours. We're just not making any time, and it's like there's a head current, or I don't know, we're just not going very fast, and we don't have much wind. I'm motoring at 2,000 RPMs to try to conserve fuel. I don't want to burn it all up. It's going to be low when I get in there. I calculated for 0.7 of a gallon per hour burn, and to make 5 knots. Well, I'm not making, I'm just almost making 5 knots. And I'm not burning that 0.7 of a gallon an hour. I was kind of counting on there being some wind to give me a hand. And it just is supposed to be. It's supposed to be wind today from the right direction and all that. It's just not happening. It's been the most difficult passage from the standpoint of weather, you know, favorable weather. What a nightmare. I just noticed that my running light, my tricolor light at the top of the mast wasn't on. And I look up here and it's turned on, and but it's not illuminated outside, so I turned on my running lights and they're working, so that's good. Turned on my steaming light because I am motoring, and that came on, and that's good, but I couldn't figure out what happened. I know we had a lot of rain, so I opened up the electrical panel and looked inside, and everything's drying fine inside there. And then I thought, oh yeah, my bilge pump didn't work, and remember I had to manually drain all the water out. I had lots of water up to almost the floorboards in the bilge. I just remembered the junction box for the masthead light and all of that is in the bilge, meaning it got completely soaked. So I just went and opened it up and looked, and sure enough, man, I mean, it's destroyed in there. I've got the junction box open. I'll show you how bad it is. Okay, so there you can see it. there's green wire here and here. That completely corroded away. I mean, it's not even making connection. These wires are all corroded. The terminal block is all corroded. Yeah. So this has got to be taken care of. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I hate coming to land because all of this stuff you got to take care of. It's so nice being at sea when it's a nice passage. This was a rough passage. This was not an easy one. But it's so nice, you know, being out, anchoring out into the islands in remote places, because you just don't have any of these hassles to deal with. No customs, no, you know, no anchoring or tying up to docks. None of this stuff.
Friday, 1:5:26 hours 2.7 meters. High tide atoll Minhanga. Friday, 06:13 hours.
Southwest Pacific from 30 south to New Zealand. At the moment, we have the fairly aggressive depression that's nearing New Zealand. There's also another depression that's just to the east of East Cape in New Zealand. That's pushing up a frontal band going all the way up to actually Bundaberg reaches that far. And that's fairly aggressive. The winds on the north side of that are northerly for the most part, maybe north-northwest, and the winds on the other side are depending upon.
Maritime radio, maritime radio, maritime radio. This is sailing vessel Mackay calling over.
Mackay. This is Whangarei Maritime Radio. Good morning. Can we please move working channel 67? Working channel 67, both over.
Roger, roger. Working channel 67, Mackay to channel 67.
Romeo, sir, going up.
Maritime radio, this is sailing vessel Mackay, over.
Sailing vessel Mackay, Whangarei Maritime Radio. Good morning, sir. Can I get your call sign first and then go ahead, over?
Roger, roger. Call sign is Whiskey Delta Golf 6283, WDG 6283, over.
Whiskey Delta Golf 6283, Whangarei Maritime Radio. Good morning, sir. Go ahead, over.
Yeah, roger. I'm inbound from Bunda, Fiji. Port destination is going to be Opua, and I'm just outside your 12 nautical mile limit, over.
Mackay, Whangarei Maritime Romeo, sir. Romeo, if I could get your current GPS position, your course and speed, over.
Roger, roger. GPS position 34 degrees 56 minutes south, 174 degrees 13 minutes east. I am on a course of 191, and I'm doing 5.0 knots, over.
Mackay, Whangarei Maritime Romeo, sir. I read 34 degrees 56 minutes south, 174 degrees 13 minutes east. Course 191 degrees and speed 5.0 knots. How copy, over?
Yeah, roger, roger. That's 100%, over.
Romeo, sir, and have you sent customs your advance notice of arrival, over?
Roger, I have. I also did the NZ ETA app and filed that way as well, over.
Romeo, sir, Romeo, all received, all received. How many persons on board, over?
Just myself, single-handed, over.
Romeo, sir, Romeo, that's all received. And what's your current ETA into Opua, over?
Opua, 1 second, I'll give that to you, hang on. Maritime Radio, this is sailing vessel Mackay. Looks like, I would say, 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning, over.
Romeo, sir, approximately 0930 to 1000. That's between 9:30 and 10 this morning. That's all received. And have you been into Opua before, over?
No, negative. This is my first time. Yeah, I'm looking at like 3 hours, 53 minutes ETA. So it's going to be right around then. No, this is the first time into Opua, over.
Romeo, sir, Romeo, and you know about awaiting customs at the Q dock. I believe that'll be on the breakwater, at the breakwater on Q dock, over.
Yeah, Roger, I'm familiar. There's a banana-shaped dock, and it's separate from the regular marina. And my understanding is that I can moor on either side of the dock I wish, and fly the quarantine flag and wait for customs, over.
Mackay, Whangarei Maritime Radio, Romeo, sir, that is all understood, sir. Welcome into the country. Hope you have a good, safe voyage in, sir. If you could just let customs know, give them a call approximately 1 hour out from arrival into Opua. Just give them a call on channel 16. They'll move you to an appropriate working channel. Otherwise, sir, have a good voyage in. This is Whangarei Maritime Radio returning 16. Just quickly, sir, if you could let us know, if you could let Maritime Radio know once you're approximately 1 hour out as well, that'd be much appreciated. Over.
Okay, Roger, no problem. We'll definitely do that. And yeah, I'll just go ahead. When I'm 1 hour out from Opua, I will call, notify Maritime Radio, and also ask to notify Customs, and that I'll be arriving Opua Customs Dock. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here, first time in New Zealand, and really looking forward to visiting the country. All the best to you. This is Sailing Vessel Mackay. I'll be back to 16.
Mackay, Whangarei Maritime, all received, sir. All the best. Maritime Radio returning 16. Thank you, and out.
Well, yeah, what an ugly day. Anyway, they're right out there. You can see it. First view, coast of New Zealand. Some rocks out there. There's a cape out there. This is the coastline. A bunch of clouds hanging over the top. Here's more of it over here. Always good when the dolphins show up. If you ever get tired of seeing dolphins, it's just time to quit. Well, we're motoring in. Wow, this is a beautiful place. Lots and lots of little hidey holes with boats tucked here and there. They're all around, little beaches and coves. It looks like they're just free anchored. I don't see, well, some of them maybe are on moorings. but yeah, wow, what a beautiful little place. Like little spots like right over there. There's some straight up ahead. Okay, well, I am cleared into the country. I am in New Zealand now. And not more than an hour after I arrived, this happened. It's let up a little bit, but this is going to continue throughout the day. Comes and goes like that. I got a slip in the marina, so as soon as this backs down, I'm going to put a rain jacket on, and I'll call them so they can get my lines. Makes it a lot easier. And I'm going to pull into the marina, and I'm going to be there for 4 or 5 days. I've decided that I'm just going to go ahead and relax and take it easy.